Technical difficulties. We'll be back in a moment. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back to Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood Watch Along. Yes, I am super excited. We're about to watch episode 12. One is all is one. And I'm really excited to meet the teacher. I'm Liesl. I'm the youth services coordinator here at the library. And
I'm Kelsey. I'm a volunteer and friend of the library.
yes.
And just all-around helper.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, and I know nothing about anime.
Yes. And I'm the veteran.
Yes.
So I'm out of date, kind of, but I have watched all of Fullmetal Alchemist and Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Nice.
And read the mangas.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yes, as you can see behind us
Yes.
on our lovely wall of manga, which someday will be the case. Little tiny synopsis of our previous episode. On the way to Dublith, Edward, Alphonse, and Winry make a detour to Rush Valley, a town full of automail engineers. Winry went bonkers.
Yes.
While there, Dominic's daughter-in-law goes into labor, and Winry helps deliver a child, while Ed and Al wait, powerless. And they felt powerless.
Yes.
They really did.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things, because Winry was on that trip with them because she wanted to go there.
Yes.
Specifically.
Right.
But she didn't quite get Dominic to agree to apprentice her, but like he kind of did.
Right.
He was like, if you just want to like show up and watch me work, that's okay.
Totally. Yes. And I think he was going to set her up with, to like apprentice with someone else in the area, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Sounds, yeah.
I think so.
Sounds right.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure she's staying there.
Yes, she is staying
regardless.
there. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
But anyway, so, I don't know, is there anything else before we dive in?
My shirt says Eastern State Penitentiary. I've had people in the past ask me, did you get that in jail? The answer is no. This is a museum now in Philadelphia. So if you don't know, it's very fascinating. And they do museum tours and they do haunted tours around Halloween when it's not COVID. But it's the prison where Al Capone was kept for a while. So, just in case you want to throw that information out
I'm
there.
just going to call you Jailbird from now on.
Yeah, that was awkward a few times because I was like,
That's pretty funny.
why are you, what kind of question, like, what kind of prison gives you a hoodie? Like, thanks for being a model inmate.
Congratulations! Here's a sweatshirt. You're going home.
Oh, God.
Oh, goodness.
It was so weird.
That is pretty funny, though.
Yeah. So, just,
I like the side note. Yes. Thank you.
yeah, because, I was like, yeah, it's a museum.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew the history when I went to visit on purpose.
Right.
So it was so weird.
Oh, goodness. That is funny.
But either way, about Fullmetal Alchemist.
Oh, right. Yes. And back to episode.
Back to episode. No, it's just, we've been kind of building up to meeting their mysterious and frightening teacher.
All right. So I think we are just about ready to dive right in.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. So I am going to press play right now.
And this one starts just immediately. There is no
Right. Exactly.
intro scene, which is interesting.
That is very strange.
Oh, hands.
Do you want the green screen?
No.
We were talking about using a green screen as a blanket because
Yeah.
it's what's in here.
It's a little chilly. It's fine.
It is.
Just imagine being in that beautiful, warm,
Yes,
idyllic
exactly.
pasture land.
Countryside.
Where it's apparently very windy.
Yes, very windy. So you know what I just today realized?
What?
That this series is so long that the kids are probably going to grow up.
Oh.
And so some of these people that we're seeing in the beginning
Mhm.
might be older versions
What?
of the same people. Literally, I've been watching this for how long now, and I just realized, oh, that's probably them.
Well, that's actually Fullmetal Alchemist, and this isn't really a spoiler because we do know it's a
Right.
lengthy story.
Yeah.
It's one of the only shows, like it's happened in other ones, but it's not as noticeable, where the characters do like visually age.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really cool examples people have posted online of like Ed from episode 1 versus the end of the series, and you can drastically tell because it is so realistically
That's
gradual.
so cool.
It's so
yeah.
awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. Again, such a cool show.
Mm.
Oh, this guy. Do I know who this is?
No,
Okay.
you don't know yet.
Good, because I was like, who is this? Wait a minute, is that the teacher?
Brother,
I
we've
can't
almost
answer
reached
that.
the Dublin station.
I'm
Were you
so
having a
excited.
dream?
Yeah, I was dreaming about him. Well, Al, we're finally here.
Yeah.
And who? Who him?
It'd be nice if teacher wasn't home. Hello, Sig.
Long time no
Oh,
see.
this is incredible.
To see you. You've grown up.
Oh,
He's squishing me.
You probably don't
Aw.
recognize me, but it's Alphonse. Sorry we've been away so long.
Looks like you've grown up more than a little.
No,
Aw.
I love Sig.
Oh,
Since
His little
I
plush.
lost my body.
Izumi, the Elric shrimps have come for a visit. Do you think you
oh,
I'll be right there. I'm feeling a little better today.
that makes me so
Lying
happy
down. That's
that
not a
he
good
did
sign.
that.
I guess she hasn't gotten any better since last time.
Hello, my stupid pupil. I hear
Oh.
you've become one of the military's dogs.
Teacher, you see, it's because
Al? Look at you, you've
Aw.
gotten so big.
Teacher, it's really good to see you.
Your skills are rusty.
You've got lots of energy for someone who's not feeling well.
Not feeling well? What are you talking about? I'm perfectly...
Oh, so many things make sense. And she just vomited blood, I think.
yourself?
How sweet of you to worry, dear. Thank you.
More couple goals.
Oh, I know. They're so cute.
His face.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Dun dun dun. Oh my goodness.
Flashback.
My mind is blown right now.
Yeah. He's not great at, communicating.
Emoting.
Or being an affectionate
A dad.
father.
This music is killing me.
Mhm. No.
Oh. Oh. I don't actually remember how she died.
I don't remember if they said
Okay.
what happened.
What? Okay.
That's how I say it to my husband.
Right, yeah.
Now we're gonna eat.
Smack.
Oh.
Oh.
Jeez.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of like little things. that you're
Yeah.
like, oh, ouch, my heart.
Right. It has gotten colder in this room.
Sure has.
She's not scared.
No. She's got this.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. They're all like, why do we build things?
They'll have super supportive husband.
Right,
Just, "Here's
exactly.
your
With the umbrella. Oh my God. Oh. Oh.
Thanks, random stranger.
Yeah, where'd the stranger come from? Is that who? Ma'am,
Yeah.
these little ones don't have parents. Okay, sir. Quite the teacher.
Uh-huh. It's pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
There
I mean,
you
I
go.
guess that's why the
It
boys
answers a lot
are.
of
Yes,
questions
it
about their
really
behavior.
does. Yep. And their capabilities.
Mhm. Me too. I've missed my afternoon snack, so I'm a little hungry too.
No. There's nothing to eat in here. I'm sorry. I just looked around.
Thanks.
Oh.
Fighting bears
Yes.
in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
He just sliced through that
Yep.
like it was butter.
Butter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know she did sharpen the knife, but
But still.
it doesn't cut through bone like that.
Oh.
Don't look.
Oh no.
Here's a real life lesson.
Oh. Oh my gosh.
The circle of life.
Yes. You.
I'm not a fan of fish. Make a spear.
Mm-hmm. Gotta make a spear and then go stand in the water.
At least they made a better little shelter
They
this
did.
time.
They made that's much better.
And it's not just you. The sound is off.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
thank
no.
you. Uh-oh. Oh my gosh.
Rude. No, don't you do that. Oh. Well, he has the epiphany.
There it is.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, epiphanies.
Hmm. Okay, and now they finally decide, like, okay, we're
Oh,
going to
that's good.
do fire.
They-
Their little crowns.
yeah.
Little laurels.
Aww. Yep. Aw.
Don't feed the wildlife.
Mm-hmm.
That teaches them to depend on humans for
Mhm.
sustenance.
It's a cute scene in a show, but it's
bad
not
advice.
reality. Hmm.
We're made of star stuff.
Exactly.
It's like,
I know. Please don't eat me.
See, for me, growing up in Texas, I always think of fire ants. So I'm like, don't you touch it.
Yeah.
Don't you touch that ant.
Oh, yeah. Fire ants are no joke.
Yeah. I know that's not what these are supposed to be, but
Right,
I'm just like,
yeah.
that's my first thought every time. It's just like,
These are the
no.
edible ones.
Wait.
Oh, yeah. I am a huge fan of her.
Yeah, she's great. Mm. Mm. She just made a hole in her house.
She
It's
did.
Fine. It's fine.
She'll just fix it in a minute. She's like, I looked at you.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, no.
Poor baby.
I know. Aww. Oh, yes, it is. I love this show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was just so good. That was a good episode. It was very sad,
Yes.
but also like
almost a good sad.
yeah, like definitely not a good sad, but like almost a good sad.
Yes. Well, because there's that kind of fear that like they're afraid she's going to judge them.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
she's almost a surrogate mom. Like she's very intense
Right.
and she's very much not like their own mother.
Right, right.
But as you saw, like even though she is unorthodox, she is very maternal towards them.
Right, right.
And she just like immediately accepted them and was like,
Right, yeah.
it's you survived and you're here now.
Aw.
So
Sorry, I giggled for a minute because mustache was up there.
yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, finally meeting Azumi answers so many questions
It
about
really does.
both of them.
Because it was like, okay, how on earth did these two come from like that sweet woman?
Into this.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
But that's where the fire comes from.
And the little symbol on the back of his jacket. is-
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
All right, and there is no after credit scene.
Yeah.
So,
Because the reason that they have that symbol is because like that's the tattoo she has.
yes.
And so that's how they kind of honor her teaching
I love
them and
that.
stuff.
Yeah.
Because like they never actually, I don't think they ever say anything about it. It's just
Right.
one of those things you're like, oh.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah. I recognize that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before I ask any questions of you, do
Yeah.
you have any questions for me?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm really glad that there's a new couple goals because I was pretty distraught over the last one.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't want to talk about it. But yeah, I'm really glad that there's more.
Yeah, because like as much as I liked Hughes and his wife and his family, like this is a different,
Very
a
different
very
dynamic.
different pairing dynamic.
Yes.
And like he's incredibly intimidating looking, especially compared to her, because like she's buff, you can tell
Right,
like
right.
she's not someone you're gonna mess with.
Mm-hmm.
But she's a little more like quote unquote normal.
Yeah.
Like if you're just
She
looking
seems
at a crowd.
Kind of petite.
Yeah, especially compared to him because he's
Right,
just
right.
this very large man, and I just love everything because he's very quiet.
Mm-hmm.
You can see like he shows his love through actions because like the
Yes.
umbrella carrying,
Exactly.
and then every time she even like because she's got this chronic illness basically because of the previous stuff, and then now
Right.
she's got missing organs.
Right,
So
right.
she pukes up blood.
Goodness.
if she
yeah.
exerts
Just
herself.
while she's talking.
Yeah. And he's always like immediately there.
Yeah.
And just is like just is there to take care of her if she needs it. And I just it's a dynamic I
know.
really enjoy.
It's really cute. It's really beautiful.
Yes.
It is.
And we already kind of touched on this, but feel free to visit it more.
Mhm.
What is your impression of Teacher and her methods?
I think she's really tough. I think it's really interesting because psychologically speaking, when a parent is very, very tough on their children, sometimes that can equate to that child being incredibly talented in whatever they were pushed to do. I think that there has to be some kind of inherent interest in whatever they're being pushed to do for it to actually work. But I'm not sure. It's not the way that I would parent.
Yeah. No.
And I mean, she isn't their parent. So I think that, you know, as a teacher, as strictly a teacher, I think that, you know, she made them the people they are. She made them capable and, you know, able to take care of themselves and all of that kind of stuff. And it's like you said, like as a character, she's interesting because she is so tough, but she also has that maternal side, which is really interesting.
Yeah. It's really interesting because, like, you get the sense that this is just, like, very natural for her personality to be that intense.
Right,
'Cause
right.
That's how she appears with the Elrics and without them in the scenes.
Right.
But it's an interesting thing to ponder about, like, because she knew these were orphans.
Yes.
And they're very, very young. And I personally think, like, maybe she already kind of knew because they immediately approached her and were like, teach us, teach us, teach us. I think that one of the reasons that she was so tough and, you know, like, just tossed them on a secluded island for a few days is because I think that was her way of sharpening the knife.
Yes.
Which is why we flipped to that scene, because she saw that they were going to find a way to pursue their goals however that was going to be. And I think that she knew, like, I need to do it. I need to help them this way.
Right.
So that it doesn't go terribly wrong.
Right. Well, and it's also, she forced them to learn how to care for themselves and how to go to extreme measures to take care of themselves, which has served them well.
Yes. They've definitely been successful.
Right. Yeah.
To a degree.
Definitely, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think, well, yeah.
Yeah. They, like,
To a
they
degree,
still,
I guess.
They committed the taboo.
Yes,
but
they're missing a body and limbs.
Yes.
So I guess that's not perfect. But yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting that she basically did the same thing that they did. I think that's a really, really interesting storyline.
Yeah, because you could definitely just focus on that. Like, that's one of the topics in relationships in the multitude of them that are available in this show that you could write an entire essay just about their relationship.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Because it's so interesting, you know, and I love psychology and all that kind of stuff too. So it's especially interesting to me to look at, you know, the way that she raised them and the way that they turned out. And, you know, as a child, when you are pushed like that, sometimes it doesn't work out. It's because there has to be that balance. And she had that maternal side, and she really seems to have been good with that because they are definitely thankful, you know. So it's just interesting because it's a tightrope walk, for sure. Yeah.
Very much so. Strong emotions have been shown to drive alchemists to commit the taboo. Do you think the price they pay is too high? So, like, the loss of limbs, the loss of body, the loss of organs for what they get in return, which is, for some of them, the truth.
For me, it depends if I actually consider it taboo or not.
Yeah,
and I'm still not sure how I feel about that. Because I'm not sure where that's coming from in the storyline.
Well, it's that they're they're trying to escape the circle of life because
Right,
someone has
right.
died,
Yes.
and they're trying to bring that person back, and so
Right.
that's breaking the cycle.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why it's, at least that's the way I interpret it.
Right,
That's why
right.
it's taboo in this story.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
which does make sense.
Mhm,
You know, I think that it's like the whole butterfly effect thing.
Yeah.
Like, if there is, and I think that grief is such a difficult thing to
Yeah.
manage,
Mhm.
that it's very complicated what would go into making that decision in the first place.
Mhm.
But I think, you know, if it is considered taboo and there are, you know, in this universe these are
Mhm.
hard truths and that is all there is,
Yeah.
then I think that what happens afterwards does make sense
Mhm,
because it's steep.
Yeah, because they had to pay a price, and
Right,
they just
right.
didn't. I kind of always view it as like the monkey paw,
Yes.
folktale
Mhm.
and myth is like they made a wish. In this case, they were trying to make a chemical exchange.
Right.
They had all the parts, and they were trying to revive the person. But it didn't work out how they wanted to, because
Mm-hmm.
instead they didn't get what they wanted. They got the truth, like the
Right.
entity called truth, like
Yeah.
showed them all these things, and so now they can do circleless
Right,
transmutation.
right.
But that's not what they wanted, but
Mm-hmm.
that's what they got.
And I thought it was really cool when she said something about like that she is the circle, because I, you know, have like this very energetic outlook on life and like that all things are connected and all that kind of stuff. And I just thought that that was so interesting to look
Yeah.
at yourself in that way, you know, as like precipitant of whatever, you know,
Yeah.
like it was just interesting to me.
What do you think of the philosophy in all is one, one is all?
Well, I think I know the circle of life, and it moves us all. It moves us all. That's what I
Yes.
think. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that that's beautiful, and I think that there are a lot of really interesting ways to look at the way that we consume food and the way that we think our environment, our world for you know, Cassie has been actually doing a lot of research on sustainability and all that kind of stuff. And so like in the real world, I think that stuff really interests me, kind of like figuring out how to make sure that we work together as an ecosystem, you know, and don't kind of consider ourselves separate from that, because we consume food, you know? And so, and it's interesting to kind of look at that from the perspective of people that eat meat, from a vegetarian, vegan standpoint, from, you know, ovo, lacto, vegetarian, you know, like all these different things and how that all combines into that. And of course, there's other things that go into that too. But
Yeah.
I think the circle of life is a real thing, you know.
Well, and I always have, I've learned it's a relatively unique perspective in that, like, I grew up out in the country. We kept livestock. I did 4-H, which is when you raise the livestock from little babies to
Yeah.
older, and then you learn that part of the circle of life, and then you learn the end of it.
Yes.
Because and then we also hunted for sustenance. So all of like the livestock and stuff, that was all for sustenance, meaning that we ate those as the same animals.
Right.
So for me, it's always kind of interesting seeing these types of story plot points where like somebody
Right.
has to learn what the circle of life is and
Yeah,
like their
yeah.
place in the universe, because I don't remember like a specific instance of that because of my upbringing.
Yeah.
It was just so integral and tied into everything we did
Definitely.
from before I can remember, that I was just like, well, yes, like but you also respect the lives, because like we were very much like
Yeah.
we would just sit outside and watch as my dad liked to call it, watch the world go by. And you just watch the animals, because at that time, like, you're just existing together. But then other times you're like, okay, well, I need to eat.
Right.
And my family needs to eat.
Well,
And so you have to make that decision.
yeah, and you see that in nature. You know, on the, I'm gonna say something that doesn't make sense, but like what was about to come out of my mouth was on the savannah.
At the watering hole.
At the watering hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can see all these animals kind of coming together for whatever need they need met. And then later on, when somebody gets hungry, things might change a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think that when I was younger and kind of started thinking about this, and it just made me so much more thankful and made me really want to put that back into the world to say, you know, this thing on my plate, you know, how many people came together to help get this food to my plate.
Yeah.
You know, and that's regardless of if there is an animal on my plate, you know, like if I'm having a hamburger, like where'd this come from?
Yeah.
Who did, you know, and there's just so many things that go into that to get it in front of me to sustain me.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just, it's a really, really, I think that there are some issues with the food industries, but you know, again, personal opinion.
Yeah.
So I just, it does make me a lot more thankful.
Tiny little thing that it's just a detail that I liked was, in case anyone's wondering, even though this story isn't set in Japan or it's almost European in its aesthetic, but the tick marks on the tree were straight lines with tick marks across.
Right.
That's due to the way they write, because they write vertically, whereas we
do
Europeans
across.
and English speakers are taught to do
Yeah.
horizontal writing, and
Right,
so
right.
our tally marks go horizontal.
How
So
interesting.
It's just such a little detail,
You
but I'm
know-
just always like, oh, that's funny.
And I did notice that, but I was like, oh wow, like that. Okay.
And
cool.
I always think of like, because their training is super intense and rustic, to
Yes.
put it kindly.
Yes. Yes,
I
it
always
is.
think of like the stereotypical like old martial arts movie training where they're
Oh my
like,
gosh.
okay, well, like go meditate under a waterfall for like 5 days, or go fight there's a joke in another anime called Fruits Basket, where this guy went away for training for a while, and they were like, did you fight any bears? Where were the bears? And he's like, I didn't fight any bears. And so I just always think of like, that's the image that pops in my head, is that scene from the show where it's just he's imagining, or this other character's imagining this character Ko like fighting a bear, and it's just like, I wasn't fighting any bears, there were no bears involved.
That is hilarious.
yeah.
Yes. And it you know what it makes me think of is it's the eye of the tiger.
Yes.
Rocky.
Yeah.
The Rocky movies. Yes, when he's training.
Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up watching those movies. So, yes, but the training montages are always a lot of fun.
And we
All
didn't
right.
get a preview for next episode, so
I
who
know.
knows?
Who
What if-
even knows what's going to happen?
I wanted to ask you about Hohen. I can't say his name. Hohenheim, the father.
Oh my gosh, we met their father today.
Yes.
Very briefly, but we did.
Yeah,
We finally met that creepy figure looming in the background of the
He's in the
introduction.
opening credits,
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. He's that guy.
That
You're like,
guy.
who's that guy?
Every single, well, not every time,
Yeah.
but many times I've been like, who's that?
And I'm like, oh,
I know.
who knows? Oh no. So yeah, now we finally kind of got to meet him in a flashback.
little bit, yeah.
We have a face for the name.
I feel like the way that we met him was very
It's not flattering.
No, it's not flattering, but it's also kind of indicative of his involvement in their lives.
Yes.
You know, like that is, we just got the kind of introduction that he would have
Yeah.
as a father. Yeah. It
Well,
doesn't
and-
seem like he was very present.
No.
Yeah.
And yeah, just that like icy glare that he
Right.
gave as he left. Just like
Right.
uh,
With those big wide-eyed boys. Like,
Yes.
oh my gosh.
Like there's more to the story. We will
Yeah.
learn later, but
I'm
still,
sure.
it's
I'm
just
sh-
like really.
I'm sure he was like going away to like do something to take care of them, and they're maybe gonna reunite or something like that. I don't know. I feel like that's what would happen in like other things that
Yeah.
I've seen, but this show has already proved to me that it is nothing like
Yes.
other shows that I've seen.
Nope. It's very unlikely that you will guess what's going to happen,
Right.
and how, until it's
Which-
like already happening, and then you're
which
gonna be like, oh.
I actually really love, because I am familiar with so many tropes.
Yeah.
We've talked about that as writers, as editors. Like, you really familiarize yourself
Yeah.
with these kind of things. And now I can watch movies and shows and kind of be like, oh,
You can
that's the
predict
bad
what's gonna
guy.
happen, yeah.
like this is what's going to happen. Blah blah blah. So I really appreciate when something surprises me.
Yeah, this is definitely like, and we kind of said it before, but this is a show that it's difficult to describe. Like, you can't really narrow it down. Like, you could say it's fantasy.
Yeah, yeah.
You could say,
Yeah.
okay, it's military fiction,
Right.
maybe adventure.
Ish,
Yeah,
yeah.
but it's a lot of like, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So
Right, it is.
that makes it more difficult because
Yeah.
even if you're genre savvy or familiar with certain tropes, you're not sure where it's coming from.
Right,
So
right.
it just makes it a lot more fun.
It
to
does.
watch.
It really does. I'm excited. I was actually just talking to Jeff earlier today about the fact that I'm really excited to binge watch this again.
After
like
we're done.
after we're done
Yeah.
in a year.
Yeah. And then,
But yeah.
then you'll pick up a lot of things. And I can also say, now that we've seen this episode, there was an episode a while back.
He walked past in the background.
Both of them did. Izumi and her husband
Oh
walked
my
past in the
gosh.
background, and I was like,
that is
"Woo!"
so awesome. That is so funny because he actually, Jeff mentioned that they had. Like that we had actually seen them already. And I was like, I bet that's when Kelsey was like,
Yeah,
oh,
it was. Yeah. So I was just
So-
like, hey, I know them.
right, exactly. Yeah.
Because it's so quick that if you blink, you miss it.
It's again, another thing that I love about the show is that like, it's going to be really fun to watch again.
Oh, yeah.
Because you will just know so many things ahead that you'll be able to notice all these little
Yeah.
intricacies.
Well, and just think of Jeff, who has seen this however many times
Yes.
he's rewatched
Right.
this. Like, there's plenty of rewatch value in this
yeah,
show.
absolutely. And Cassie too. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, awesome. Thank you again for another wonderful session. Thank you guys for being here with us again. If you like this video, give us a like and a share on Facebook and a like and subscribe on YouTube. Helps us get our videos out to everybody. And thanks so much for being here. We'll see you again, same time, same place next week.
Yep.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.